So imagine this. You could walk into this store where you could supposedly buy any skill that you want. Like any skill. And once you buy that skill, you'll be a master at it. You'll be the master of that craft. And you'll get all the benefits from it, and you wouldn't have to work your way towards that. Doesn't that sound great? It sounds pretty awesome to me, if you ask me. But the thing is, well, obviously that doesn't exist, right? So, unfortunately, we have to work towards a certain skill that we would want, or towards like a certain, I guess, craft or trade or whatever you want to call it, right? And many people can do this for many different reasons, and some might even be working towards a skill that they don't even know is a thing, right? But in this video, I'll be talking more about just sort of skills that you can work towards and gather and acquire. I'll mention a little bit about some skills that you might be working towards during certain stages of your life, but the main focus of this video is going to be working towards like specific skills in mind that you have like a certain goal towards, or like if it feels like a goal that you want to accomplish. So, well, first of all, what do I mean by all that, right? like, okay, yeah, there's a bunch of skills, right, in this world, but I mean, where do I even begin with this? Well, I guess the best beginning would be defining like, okay, what are we talking about by skill, right? So like, this could be like a creative skill. So being able to do video editing, audio editing, and this includes like production and mastering, whatever. This includes uh performances, so like comedy acts, dancing, acting, all that stuff. This could be singing as well. And it could go away from the arts. It could just be like a technical skill, like coding as a skill, or writing academic papers, writing in general, like just general writing. It could go towards creative writing or whatever, but that sort of stuff, right? Or hell, it could be like the most boring basic skill that you might not even think about. Like, for example, in school, you learn the skill of learning. And I know what you're thinking, like, okay, well, fuck's the point of that? Why should I learn how to learn? And I'm gonna say this right now before I forget. Learning is probably one of the most valuable skills you can learn at any stage in life. And it is the most useful at any stage of life, right? Because think about this. If you're good at learning, i.e., you're good at like looking at material, or like you can do the research, you could find resources to help you learn a certain topic, you can digest, understand that topic in a short amount of time, then, well, one, you just have that great skill learning for school, so that's awesome. But also that helps you with this whole like process that we're going to talk about in terms of acquiring a new skill, or like having something under your belt, right? But why do you want a new skill? What's the point of it? Well, the point of having a new skill, well, for one thing, it's just nice to have. It's just fun to have it, really, because um I remember over the pandemic, over the COVID-19 pandemic, I was still in high school around this time, and I was kind of, I was told that we're gonna have this extended spring break, which technically I'm still on that spring break, which it's kind of funny to think about it, but whatever. Either way, there's like this extended spring break that we might be coming back to school, we might not, who knows, right? And this is just when the pandemic was ramping up, right? And I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be that long. It's gonna be like a couple of months maybe. But if you're watching this video during that time, then yeah, no, it's still going on. And I don't care what other people say. It's still going on. Not to an extreme mass. I know there's like like spike up recently, but like it's not that bad compared to how it was a couple years ago. So, but either way, there was like that period where I was at home and I was doing schoolwork at home. And a lot of the schoolwork was easy. Like, it was already easy for me back then, because it was like, oh, do like a couple hours and I'm out playing video games. Whatever, I don't care, right? But this time, right? The assignments were really easy. And I mean, I could do them in like 20 minutes and I'm done. Like, that's the end of my day. And I didn't have to worry about traveling. I didn't have to worry about anything else. I was at home with like 10, 12, 14 hours of just nothing. Like blank nothing, sitting in my room, just kind of doing my thing. And at first this was awesome for me because it's like, okay, cool. I get to play more video games. I get to, beat my meat and like watch some hentai or some shit. Or like watch anime. All this cool shit, right? I get to hang out with my friends on Discord. Wow, it's super cool. But then it was kind of nice, I will admit, for like the first month. But after that, it started to get really depressing. And it was like, okay, well, I can't keep doing this forever. I'm 17 years old, about to turn 18, and I feel like a fucking loser. And so, because of that, I thought to myself, okay, what can I do to kill the time a little bit more productively? Like, what can I try at the least? Sort of kill this boredom and just, like, try something new. Because I got nothing better to do. And I have tried some things before, and, like, I tried music, I tried playing the guitar and, like, other instruments too. I played the trombone and baritone for a little bit, and I never really got too far with that. I tried to get into like a national band, but that was like it didn't work out that well. But that might be another video, just a little story time thing. But either way though, I did try out some things and a lot of different things, but like the things they all flopped like immediately after, or like they lasted for a short period of time. So I was kind of like, okay, fuck it. This is gonna be my little short thing, and that's gonna be the end of that because I don't care, right? So, but I was thinking to myself, okay, what am I gonna do? What should I learn? What kind of craft, right? Because, again, as I mentioned, I tried many different crafts before, but they lasted a short period of time, and I never really got fully engrossed into it. I was getting close to that once I was doing stuff at high school, like cybersecurity stuff or like some programming here and there, and that's it. But I wasn't really like fully into it, like that wasn't my main focus until I went on YouTube, and there's this YouTuber. His name is CDogVA, right? And I found him through Kid Boga when he's doing the like scam call videos and that shit. And I found him through that, like, one of his older videos. So I kind of went on, like, this whole rabbit hole through CDogVA. And I remember he had this one video in particular, or, like, couple videos in particular, rather, where it was, like, Discord's Got Talent. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically, like, the show America's Got Talent, but done on Discord, essentially, right? And it's, like, a lot more relaxed and chill, whatever, right? So, but either way, I saw that, and I saw, like, all these people going up and, like, just, doing whatever. And some were doing impressions of certain characters and all that sort of fun stuff, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I don't know if I could do that really, right? And I never, like, I had that like gut feeling like I should try this, but I never really took action to it immediately. And like I think a couple weeks after that, I got into another rabbit hole where I was watching, like, this is the time when I got super into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which really good anime. I don't know when. I think they're releasing part 6, like season 6 part 2, around this time. I don't know, but either way, good show. I was super invested at the time, and I found some like JoJo's content essentially, and I saw people doing comic dubs and like making all sorts of memes about it and all this shit, and I was like, oh, that's pretty nice. Like little like just time waster essentially. Then I found more YouTubers reacting to comic dubs, and I saw other people doing more comic dubs, and I was like, you know what? These people are doing comic dub stuff, and that's pretty interesting to me. I think that's something I want to try out and see what happens, right? So I decided, fuck that. I'm just gonna go ahead and find like the source of like where all these comic dubs are coming from. Because apparently there was this one YouTube channel that was like spewing a comment of, I think they're still doing it, but I went into their server, and I was kind of waiting for that opportunity for like an audition for a comic, because like they hold like auditions like every now and then. I managed to get really lucky, and like immediately after get that audition, like the public post saying, hey, go ahead and dub these comics, send me whatever. I did a couple of them. And the first ever time I've done voice acting related stuff was on a video. And I got super excited. I was like, oh my god, I'm in a video, yay, right? All this crazy stuff. And because of that, I started doing more and more and more. And while I was doing it more and more, I invested more into some audio gear. And I actually have my old mic like somewhere in the closet, but now I have this audio setup because I kept on doing it for a long time. I invested in classes. I did more auditions and more like a lot of other stuff basically. And at some point, you know, I was super excited about this. I was like, this is gonna be my career. I get to do voice acting all the time. Oh my god, this is super cool. But then came like the opening of schools and universities and whatnot, like opening it in person. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'd like to be in person and have human contact. That would be nice, right? So, this is during the time of my sophomore year, actually, when this happened. So, I went to in-person classes around then. And this is also when I was starting to get into more, like, harder courses and more, like, scientific courses, which are a bit more demanding in studying time. So, you know, at that point, it's like, okay, shit, I have to put a lot more effort into my classes, but I want to do this voice acting thing, but I need to put effort in this whole conundrum, essentially. And, I mean, to this day, it's still a bit of a conundrum, but thankfully died down a lot lower. But, you know, I remember I had this period in my life where it was just super kind of depressing almost, in a sense. It was like, oh, I have to let go of this thing that I just worked super hard for. You know, what the fuck, right? But, you know, I realized while I was, you know, going on about school or whatever, and then through the summer, actually, you know, that the summer is when it really highlighted what I did with voice acting and showed, like, okay, this is what I could actually do with it. This is, like, the broad scope of it, right? Because before I saw it as, like, a way for me to perform or to entertain others, I never really saw it as a way to educate or to spread a message, to say the least. I saw it as more of like a fun thing for me and oh cool, I get to make money? Fucking sick, right? But now I see it as an asset. An asset for myself, a way to improve myself in a sense. In so many different aspects. Okay? And these aspects are very they could be technical aspects like public speaking or being able to control breath while you're talking. It's not stuttering a whole lot. And you know, if you look at like some other YouTube channels that are starting out, if you look at some beginning videos, a lot of other people are a lot more quieter and soft at the beginning, but then they soon learn to boom out a bit more. Me, I already know how to boom out and, you know, sort of project my thoughts out. I just don't know how to get that like flow going, so that's what I'm still learning at this moment, right? But and then there's also other aspects like the business aspect, the marketing aspect. There's social communication, you know, that's a big thing in entertainment, right? So many different things. All because I was bored one day and I was like, okay, let me just try this. Let me get this new skill and see where this goes. And so what can you take away from my story, right? Well, that's the big thing. What can you take away from this? Well, first of all, it was just a discovery. There's a discovery process in this. There was a time where I didn't really had anything or like any sort of idea like what I wanted to do. So I just went out and I just got influence from other people and see like what they were doing and you know, could I try this? Could I not try? Just going in this whole trial and error sort of process, right? And you know, when you're doing it, don't have this idea in mind where it's like I'm gonna get something out of this, like materialistic wise, or I'm gonna be good at this, I'm gonna be the expert at this. No. Instead, have the mentality of either I'm having fun with this, I'm just trying it out, I'm trying to learn something. See this as more of an investment towards yourself. Because once you start seeing it as an investment towards yourself, then you start to internalize it a lot better and it will stick to you a lot better. Because before, like back then, with all the other stuff I did, I had a more like materialistic like mindset, like sort of goal ahead of me, or like I wanted to be good at this thing, I wanted to be good at that thing. That was it, you know. And I get no, there's no shame in like having a materialistic goal or like just wanting to be good at something, as long as there's like an actual deep connection where it's like, okay, this is why I really like to do this, you know, because with terms of motivation, you have like the surface level, but then you also have like your deep sort of intimate reasoning, right? Like, for example, with voice acting for me, my surface level reason is because it's fun, it's easy, and it's also a way for me to express myself, express emotions, and blah blah blah. And then down here, like in the more intimate level, it's like this is a way for me to spread a message. This is a way for me to serve others, to help others. It's a way for me to is like cope, right? Coping of stress, a healthy way of cope, rather, you know? And, you know, all sorts of other crap like that. And this could help build into my career, into medicine, all that sort of stuff. So then there's that, but there's also like, okay, how do I find the skill that I actually want to do? Just YouTube. YouTube is the #1 source for like any fucking thing, right? And here's the thing, right? If you're gonna like, don't just go on like some random like, oh shit, this back of the shirt is itchy as shit, bro. But don't just find like some random list unless that helps a lot, right? Don't just find like some random list. It's like these are the best ways you can have a side hustle. These are the best side hustles. #1, number. No, fuck that. Just find like how the hell do I explain? Like, okay, find the things that you do right now, right? And see what do you like about the things that you do. So, for example, if you like video games, why do you like video games? For some, it's a communication aspect. For others, it's the strategy aspect. For a couple more people, it's a competitiveness. Maybe it's the sort of it's the sort of realism. Then you can look to what genre of video games do you like, right? Like if you like more action or like first-person shooter type stuff, right? Then the direct correlation would be like airsoft or something like that, or just going on a shooting range or whatnot, right? Or maybe you might like fitness and exercising. Or maybe you might like fuck, I don't know. Like there's like a lot of things, but I can't really connect it right now. It's like it's hard for me to think of that, but yeah, that's one thing. Or like maybe you like more RPG games. So maybe you might like acting or voice acting stuff. Maybe you might like more creative artsy stuff, right? Or maybe you want the more technical aspects of things. So you might want to be a game developer, or you might want to write scripts. And again, you won't really know what you like until you give it a shot. And I got really lucky with the voice acting thing, I'll be honest. I just threw it out there at a boom. But of course, don't expect this to be like the long thing or like the one thing. Like don't make this your personality. Because that's a mistake I did for a little bit. And once I stopped doing voice acting for a bit, I just ended up feeling like shit, right? Like, as I mentioned with the whole break thing my sophomore year, it was terrible. And, oh yeah, and in terms of investments and money, if you're willing to do that, fine, go ahead. But don't think that you have to make an investment monetarily to do the thing that you want to do. Like, honestly, like, if you want to get into voice acting, your phone would be good enough. Honestly, like, I'm recording this video with my phone right now. And also, you know, you can, I know like ProZD, he uses his phone, I believe, you know, just to record his skits. So a phone is viable and it's okay, right? Like nobody gives a shit at the end of the day. As long as you're having fun, it's good. I like writing, right? You don't need like a Microsoft Office subscription for Microsoft Word. You have Google Docs or a piece of paper, right? You don't have to buy manuals or all this shit. And here's another thing, right? If you actually want to learn the craft, YouTube is also a very good place to learn that craft, right? I have a document where I update every now and then talking about voice acting stuff. So like, if you guys are interested in voice acting stuff and might want to get into that, then I'll put the document down in the description so you guys can check it out. But for the most part, though, what is it? For the most part, it's just like discovering through YouTube. Like all the stuff you'll find on the list is YouTube stuff. Some stuff that I might have learned through classes or whatever, right? No, actually, no, 100% is YouTube. What am I saying? I like websites or whatever, right? And just other resources you can find free online, right? And you'll see that list. I think it's like 2 to 3 pages long. It's that insane, right? And that's how I learned how to do all this like other stuff. You know, I learned how to do audio editing through YouTube. I learned how to do video editing through YouTube, and I know like some more advanced stuff, but I'm just not good at it. So that would be something I would practice on to be a better editor, right? Or same with script writing. I learned how to do script writing. Like, it's so much shit you can learn through YouTube. It's like YouTube University is king, right? And don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because I learned a good amount of my voice acting stuff on YouTube and through other people, like word of mouth. And I like to say that I'm a pretty good voice actor. Not a professional, sure, because I'm not out there really doing auditioning right now. I'm kind of just more of like a lay low actor. But I mean, I think I could still bring in like a couple acting chops here and there, right? So, but again, I'd have to go back and rework the craft because it's been such a long time since I've done so, right? So, but anyways, that's enough of that, right? Now you have the skill. Now you're kind of working towards the skill. You're gonna do whatever with it. But again, what if you get to the period where or where you just end up dropping it, right? Like, fuck this, I don't need this, right? Or fuck this, I get bored, or something like that. If you end up having this feeling of like, I just wasted my time, and all the time is now gone, I can't get it back, you didn't waste your time. You learned something new. You now have a new skill that you could go back to. You can always put this skill on pause. And there's no shame in that whatsoever. A lot of people do that. A lot of successful people who are in the industry they take a pause into certain things because they just have to, right? And also, it's just a nice break for them because you can't keep on doing the same thing over and over again. There's a quote that I heard from a couple other people and from like some of my professors and whatnot. They say, if you're chasing the thing that you desire the most, you're not gonna get the thing you desire the most. Like, if that's your main focus, your main chasing point, right? But, you know, if you're kind of just, like, going ahead and doing it, whatever, and you're just kind of, like, it's just kind of passive almost to you, then you're gonna end up getting it at some point or another. It's going to be very slow, much like everything else good in life, but if you just take it small, take, like, small steps, you have to think, like, you have to get rid of this, like, ego mentality of, like, I have to make big production stuff. I have to make things super big and like, extravagant, right? No, you fucking don't. A lot of YouTube, actually, the fundamentals of YouTube has been built upon just this sort of content. Like, me just picking up a video, barely editing it, and then just submitting it online. That is it. YouTube was never supposed to be this high production shit that you find nowadays with like a bunch of other YouTube channels and whatnot. And also think about this, right? Whenever you see the like high production stuff, you know, or like like YouTubers having their own studio, whatever, right? Unless it's something like Mr. Beast, which goes like extravagant all the way, but that's a bit like different because he still kind of sticks to like not like 2013, 2016-ish YouTube around that point. I'm talking about like those like the really big YouTube channels that have like 4K cameras and then they have like a literal studio and everything and they just record like basic shit like reaction videos or something, right? That's completely unnecessary. And if you were to watch those videos compared to something like Penguin Zero or Charlie, right? Or like Orange Peanut, like just a couple of examples that do like this same sort of content. They're a lot more better and a lot more entertaining to watch because you have that like interpersonal connection, right? And it doesn't feel fake as shit. And I'm hoping that this doesn't feel fake as shit either because I just kind of press the record button and then like I'll say this right now. Every time I start a video like this, I always do a 3, 2, 1, then I clap, right? And that's how I would know. I would sync the audio from my phone over to my mic and then that's the only editing I do and then cut the beginning and end. There are some times where I go a little bit over and beyond, aka like add an image for emphasis purposes, or like my last video was fucking stupid. But I remember like the last video ending, right? If you watched the ending of that, it was just ridiculous because it was just me being bored, and I was like, I have a lot of free time. Fuck it, let me go nuts with this, and you know, I just spat out a video, I spat out something, and it was like, okay, that's like 2 minutes of some content that I just recorded, and that took me like 30 minutes. This entire video is like right now I'm at like the 24-minute mark, and you know, I think the editing all this would be like 5 minutes. The rest of the time would be just uploading, rendering, and all that stuff. That like it'd just be a waiting game at that point, right? And this feels a lot more authentic and personal because it feels like I'm talking to you straight ahead. And And again, this is with like a creative skill, right? Like I know I'm going in depth with like a creative skill. This can work with like a technical skill too, like coding or marketing or whatever, right? You don't have to pretend that you're a professional. You don't have to feel like a professional. You could just feel like a normal dude. And honestly, if you get that mentality, that's probably better anyways. Because that skill feels a lot more ingrained into you, into your heart, right? And I know it sounds like super sappy spiritual shit, but it's true, really, it is. Because you're trying to get the skill, you're trying to master the skill out of probably like love and respect of the craft. And also because you enjoy it, right? So if that's truly why you do it, and not for monetary reasons, by all means, go ahead. If you're doing it for monetary reasons, for like a survival purpose, I mean, I understand because I'm also going to medical school for a similar reason like that. I have judged others for it, and I am completely wrong at that degree. I will say that right now, because people need money. And if you're getting a skill for money, fine. I just, like, it might be a little bit harder for you to do it that way than through a sense of love and service, you know? Or a sense of humanity, like, adding a sense of humanity to it, essentially. But, again, I understand if you have to do those things. And I wish you the best of luck with that. Truly, I do. Because I'm going through that same pathway with medicine, and some people ridicule me for doing it for the money. And I'll make another video about that separately, about like the whole monetary pathway, or like the hustle culture, like get that money, you know? But yeah, I will say this right now, don't be ashamed of getting a skill for money. It's not going to be as helpful for you, or like that skill's not going to stick as well for you as if you internalize it as like the sort of love for the craft and whatnot. But if you have to do it, you have to do it, right? So the main takeaway from this whole video really is just go out, try new things, and just experiment a bunch, and keep on learning each day. That is an important skill. Like, if anything else, if you don't learn any other skills in your entire life, I hope that the one skill you learn the most is learning. Because that is a very important skill in life, and believe it or not, you're learning it right now in school. How are you learning it? Well, you have to study for exam, right? You have to learn the content pretty quick. And it's actually better if you learn useless shit. The reason why is because you have to push yourself to sort of learn, and you have to go through like this grittiness. Like once you get that like mental fortitude of learning through that like gritty like garbage basically, then you can learn anything. You may not believe that in yourself, but you can learn anything. Anything and everything in this world. So, yeah, I truly wish you the best of luck. Again, the document for the voice acting stuff will be down in the description if you guys want to get into that stuff, because I love it. I think everybody else should get into it. And oh, sorry, I forgot one other important thing, right? Don't let other people stop you. Don't let other people like give you some bullshit like, "But you're not good at this. Like, you can't do this. This isn't meant for you." Blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Like, nothing is made for anyone, right? There is no skill that's like perfect for them in life, right? Like, this is not perfect for my life because I was like a shy sort of kid growing up. I had a terrible time communicating with other people. Oh, that was a big shift. But I did it anyways because I loved it, right? Or like, you know, coding, for example. Like, I didn't really expect myself to do a lot of coding now. Yeah, compared to that, like, when I was in high school. But I still did it because I was interested in the craft. So, like, if people are telling you don't do it, this is bad, you know, this is cringe or whatever, like, tell them to go fuck themselves. Big middle fingers, alright? Alright, boys, right? Don't let anybody stop you. You got this. Trust me. Out of my heart. You got it, okay? Got this shit. But, yeah. With that all being said, I wish you the best of luck with your endeavors towards getting a new skill. And holy shit, we're about to reach the 30-minute mark. In 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.